Sindra. The deep rumble of my father's laughter was like the feel of a warm blanket on a cold day. When it was joined by my mother's breathy giggle, it was like music. I used to fall asleep to the sound of their laughter when I was young, when life seemed easier than it does now. Looking back, I can see the exchange of knowing smiles and recognize the small gestures that revealed their love for each other. The culture of affection spread through our house and to my siblings and I, and allowed us all to live happy and carefree lives. I grew up in the village of Fairwood, a moderate village surrounded by farmland. Our farm wasn't far from town, and our produce was considered some of the village's best. My eldest sibling, Selah, raised pigs, and she always won the blue ribbon on festival days. My brothers Stellan and Stefan were mischievous but gentle, and hard workers like my father. As the youngest, I was always ready to pitch in. My mother said I was the first to notice when someone needed help. We were well known and liked, and my childhood was a happy, if modest one. We were very involved in the local community and had many friends. That's where my brother Stefan met his best friend, Kelleth. I didn't know it then, but he would grow to become my best friend too, and more.
Kelleth. For as long as I can remember, it was just me and my mom. We didn't have much but a small 2-room home that she told me my father built when they married. When I was too small to remember, he got very sick with a mysterious illness and passed away. Mother said we would have starved if the good people of the village weren't charitable and kind. She started baking to repay them, and eventually her baking became our livelihood. She would sell to the locals and the regional market on Saturdays. As I got older, I naturally became her protector. She said father wanted me to be educated, so she made sure I learned to read, and I would read to her in the evenings. She taught me to always be grateful and that we should give back to the community that saved us. One day, the village's blue ribbon pig escaped its pen and ran amok. It belonged to a girl named Selah, and her brothers and I teamed up to catch it. That day, her brother Stefan and I became the best of friends when we discovered our birthdays were only one day apart. Stefan had a little sister, Sindra, and she was always hanging around. Soon, I didn't mind her hanging around so much.
Sindra. As kids do, I often trailed behind my siblings, hoping to be included. I was especially close to Stefan, and it wasn't long before I was part of the group, running carefree through the village. As I grew into my teens, Kelleth and I grew closer. After a while, it just became expected that wherever one of us was, the other would be close by. I started to see him not as a boy or a friend, but as someone, well, more. When Kelleth's mother started having difficulty with her hands, I started helping her with the baking. Eventually, her eyes started to fail as well, and I fell into the role of caregiver. I didn't mind, as I truly enjoy helping people. I also got to spend more time with Kelleth, so it was an added benefit. I'm not sure when he started to see me as more than just the sister of his friend, but those long days in the kitchen baking were often followed by evenings listening to Kelleth read until both of us fell asleep. And soon, We were holding hands as he walked me home each night.
Kelleth, when I told Mother I was going to marry Sindra, she smiled so brightly that I knew she approved. Though she could no longer see, she always said she could feel when Sindra was close because the air felt somehow lighter. I knew exactly what she meant because I felt it too. We wed in the spring with my mother and her family's laughter filling our ears. As a wedding gift, some of the villagers had built on to my mother's house a large bedroom, an expanded kitchen, just right to accommodate us. Sindra, of course, would not dream of leaving my mother. On Sundays, we would all go to her parents' house for supper as a large, happy, extended family. I filled my days working on neighborhood farms or doing odd jobs. Evenings were quiet. I liked to read to Sindra and Mother. Mother liked the histories. Sindra liked adventure. She never complained, not once, about the baking or the unexpected role of caregiver, but I knew in her heart she longed for adventure.
Sindra. It was winter when the sickness came. At first, it was just a few people, very old or very young. But soon, it was entire families, not just sick, but dying. Every day, Kelleth brought reports of more death. Neighbors, friends, family. His mother fell ill and was gone in just 2 days. My father followed a few days later. There were so many dead, and I felt helpless. I started going to the church to help with the sick. I visited the sick and the dying, praying over them and giving some peace. At least I hope I did. Father Bertram taught me how to pray for healing and to give aid. He taught me about the rights and how to fight back against evil and sickness. He inducted me as a cleric, his assistant, and it gave me purpose. I found peace in helping ease the comfort of others.
Kelleth. So many dead, and still more dying every single day. We were devastated. But it was winter, and the creatures of the wilds were hungry too. The raids started, and the militia had lost so many that the few left were exhausted. I answered the call to join the militia and help. I spent every day training, learning how to use weapons and armor, learning about defense and strategy, honing my skills at observation. Each morning, Sindra and I walked to the church, where we would pray and be blessed. Then Sindra would support Father Bertram, and I would head off to do my duty. Sometimes I was sent out as a scout. Sometimes Sindra would join me in combat training, as Father Bertram said the church was sometimes needed. For 4 months, this was our daily life. The winter was exceptionally long that year, but finally, spring returned, and reports of sickness began to slow.
Sindra. When the spring finally returned, our village was devastated. So many had died, and the survivors who were left were broken in spirit. No family was spared. Most people decided to pack up and leave, either to live with family in other, hopefully happier places, or to simply start over somewhere new. Mother, utterly heartbroken after the loss of father, wanted to leave. The boys had long hoped to look for their fortunes in a larger city, and she was loath to stay without them. My sister, married shortly before Kelleth and I, had already left. Kelleth, too, felt at a loss without his mother, and now that he had held a blade, he felt a desire to use it. I could not deny that I had long been attracted to adventure, so we made a decision together. It was a risk. It was scary. But most of all, it was exciting. As long as we had each other, it was all we needed. And our adventure truly began.